In this video known as the Ahmadiyya debate has been uploaded by Akber Choudhry in his Muslim Identity YouTube page, and the name of the video again is Ahmadiyya debate on the stream on al-jazeera. This video is also available on al-jazeera, the stream's official YouTube page, but they do not have the post show on there. So because in my response video I'm going to be referring to comments made during the post show, please use this one as a reference, and please watch the entire debate. And as usual, my disclaimer applies. It's written in the description of the video, so you can read it there if you need to. Okay, so during this show, the host was elaborating on Akber's comments to get the Ahmadiyya point of view. He asked Amjad, who's on the left here representing the Ahmadiyya side, Ahmadiyya Muslim side, to comment on the Ahmadiyya presence on the news in the West, in particular in the United States. So referring to Ahmadis, the host says, while asking the question, he says, appearing in the news media in Western countries, for example on Fox News, and speaking of themselves as the peaceful sect and of other Muslims as not being so far into the same basic principles of peace. In relation to this, Akber says the following, and I quote, referring to the aftermath of the Faisal Shahzad incident in New York, I quote Akber. He says, the Ahmadiyya were in Times Square reminding everybody, we are the good Muslims. He gave examples of the people of Norway, how they reacted to the attacks in Norway. And then he goes on to say, what you're doing is you're implying by your words that Muslims are generally not loyal. Every Muslim group in the UK, and I have been on BBC and Channel 4, every Muslim group is so mad and confused at these kinds of campaigns that alienate and label the general Muslim community. So I'm going to examine all these statements in which he accuses the Ahmadiyya Muslim community of alienating and putting a general label, making them mad, making them look like they're not peaceful and they're not loyal. These are all allegations posed by Akber Choudhry. I'm going to examine all these with proof. He also mentioned Naseem Mehdi Saab, who is the National Vice President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the UK. About him going on Fox News. I couldn't entirely understand what Akber was saying, but it was something along the lines of Naseem Mehdi Saab misrepresenting the Muslims' loyalty. Now I'm going to show you some video clips of Naseem Mehdi Saab in the news, and you can hear what he says and you can determine whether it is good or bad for Muslims. So the first one is a press conference in New York City. I'm going to only play parts of it, so I'm going to go to first part that I want to show is at 8 seconds. Let me just check my volume. The volume is on maximum, so that's good. Okay, so at 8 seconds of the video, it allows me to go to 7, that's fine. So I'm going to play this.
We have called this press conference because we understand the urgent need for Muslims living in the United States to actively stand up for peace. It is important to recognize that there is much apprehension in the world regarding what Islam and Muslims stand for. The image of Muslims in the world will not change until these doubts are addressed.
Okay, so that's the first part. He gave here the purpose of the press conference. Now my question is, does any Muslim have any objection to what he has said in this part that I have played, explaining his purpose of this news conference? Second part that I'm going to play is at 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Okay.
Of Islam, there's no doubt about it. But every moderate Muslim would agree on this issue that Islam means peace, and we are promoters of peace.
Does any Muslim have any objection to this statement that Islam means peace? Please leave your comments about this. And finally,
so let us all get together on this commonality and work together.
Did you hear that? He said we should all get together. So what is there to feel alienated about, especially from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which represents a very small portion of Muslims in the world. Okay, second video that I'm going to show is Fox and Friends. It's in relation to the Muslims for Peace initiative. 1 minute and 38 seconds is where I'm going to start. $137 will do.
My personal fear is not important. The fear is that if we don't speak out, then first of all, the majority of the Americans, they will not have this perception, which is very damaging, that perhaps every Muslim is a terrorist. Right. So we have to change this perception. And secondly,
sorry. Okay. So, is it true that we're labeling the general Muslim community, but we're giving them a bad label? No, we're giving them a good label. You can clearly hear what he said, that it's a misconception that must be dispelled that that the majority of the Muslims are bad. So for Akber to say that we're misrepresenting the Muslims is completely false. If any Muslim feels that we are misrepresenting him or her by saying that the majority of the Muslims are peaceful, please come forward and make your case. It's only people like Akber who are misrepresenting the Muslims by saying that these kind of peaceful campaigns are wrong, when in fact we're actually cleaning up the image of Muslims because of people like Faisal Shahzad and people who have brainwashed Faisal Shahzad. Next part I'm going to play is 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
And this is something very ugly. And we say that all the Muslims, and we say that majority of the Muslims, right, vast majority of the Muslims are moderate. Vast majority of American But they don't Muslims speak up. You're the only...
Did you hear that? Naseem Mehdi Saab said on Fox News that the majority of the Muslims are moderate. How can Akber possibly think that this is giving a bad label to Muslims? There's no possible negative implication that can arise from this. And with all due respect, Akber Choudhry is not stupid, but he appears to be very deceptive for saying things like this, and I feel sorry for the people who fall for his trap. All that he wants to do is to move people away from Jamaat Ahmadiyya, because he's left them. So, and that's a different topic altogether, but his goal is to keep people from Jamaat Ahmadiyya as far as possible from Jamaat Ahmadiyya. And he will he's going to oppose all the good things that matter to try to achieve this goal. So people need to wake up and realize this. Later on, Akber said, and I quote Akber, he said, "What right does the Ahmadiyya have to do such campaigns when they're not coordinating with the Muslim leadership?" Akber Saab, I got news for you. Fundamental human rights, the right of the freedom of conscience, the freedom of speech, these are the things that a country like the United States offers. That's the right that he has. He doesn't need your permission to speak as a Muslim. He considers himself a Muslim. I consider myself as a Muslim, and we're going to speak as Muslims. If you have a problem with that, you can speak, but you can't take away our rights like the case in Pakistan. This is not Pakistan. This is the United States. I'm going to show another video now. It's another one from Fox News, in which Naseem Mehdi Saab is being interviewed. First part I'm going to show is 38 seconds. And actually, I just wanted to show a still of this part in which you can clearly see Naseem Mehdi, National Vice President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. So to say that we're sort of representing, and because Akber said that, and I'll quote Akber on this, when he said that when they go out there and try to malign the Muslim community or speak on behalf of the Muslims, then it really does cause a huge problem. I still don't understand what the problem is, and anybody who understands, please explain. It says right here, Ahmadiyya Muslim community. It doesn't just say Muslim community. So anybody who's watching this or listening to this knows that this is Ahmadiyya speaking, not the Muslim community in general. And in this news, it's been presented that Ahmadiyya Muslims are peaceful. If any Muslim feels that they're not peaceful, they're welcome to go on the news or wherever it is they want to represent themselves and present themselves to the contrary if they like. But Ahmadiyya are always going to present the peaceful point of view. So I still don't understand what kind of problem anybody has with this, because it cleans up the images of Muslim. But anyway, I don't, like I said, it causes a huge problem. I don't understand how it can cause a problem unless if somebody's not peaceful. Next part I'm going to show is 48 seconds.
Somebody has to get out and say what real Islam is, and Islam does not condone any kind of violence or terrorism.
So again, this is condemning violence and terrorism. So I don't understand what Akber is upset about, and whatever Muslim communities that he's referring to in the UK, I don't understand what they're upset about. If they're upset about condemning terrorism, then they can come out and present their point of view, and we'll see who's right and who's wrong. Next one is a minute and 22 seconds.
Encouraging groups like yours, communities like yours, to do exactly what you did yesterday, to stand up and say that the majority of Muslims are not violent. Why are other groups like CARE, why are they not doing what you did?
So this is again, I wanted to point out that the news reporter has reaffirmed that we're saying that the majority of the Muslims are peaceful, they are moderate. So to criticize somebody who speaks up in favor of Muslims in Western society is not going to get them anywhere. In fact, they're ruining their own image by criticizing Naseem Mehdi Saab, because he's putting in a good word for them and they're saying that he's wrong. So whoever's listening can take away what the message is from people like Akber Choudhry. And the final part that I'm going to show from this particular video is 2 minutes and 56 seconds.
What I said was that every Muslim, every moderate Muslim, and they are in majority, and these fanatics are in small minority, that these people who are silent majority, they should get out and talk about the peaceful Islam, and they should show the peaceful posture of Islam. Right.
So does anybody have any objection to what he's saying? So if I go out and I say to all the Muslims, please come out and show that Islam is peaceful, do you have any objection against me for saying this? Please leave your comments. And the fourth video that I'm going to show is ICAST UN interview of Naseem Mehdi Saab again. 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
And we say that vast majority of Muslims living in the United States, or vast majority of Muslims all over the world, they are moderates, but they are silent majority.
See, again, that's my point that is reaffirmed once again. This is the Ahmadiyya point of view, that the vast majority, of Muslims is moderate. If any Muslim thinks otherwise, please say so. As you can see from all these videos that Naseem Mehdi Saab, I've shown from all these videos that Akber was completely falsifying the reality. If anybody has a doubt, then please come forward, please leave your comments, please prove it. A side note, at one point during the Ahmadiyya debate on the stream, the host was rephrasing Amjad's comments, Amjad representing the Ahmadiyya side, and summarizing it to say that the Ahmadiyya are doing good work and he asked Akbar, "Aren't you proud?" And Akbar's answer started with the word "no." So just a thing to note. So he's not proud of anybody who does good work for Islam to clean up the image of Muslims. And the viewers must watch all these videos themselves and watch this entire debate, and you can clearly see what Akbar is really trying to achieve here. And very clearly, it's not in favor of Islam. And my final words are as follows. I think that the real reason why Muslim leaders are so mad, if they are in fact mad and confused, and these are the words of Akbar, is because the Ahmadiyya Muslim community beat them to this things like this, the peaceful initiatives. They're confused because they're wondering why they're not the ones doing this. My message to them is that somebody had to do it, and as Naseem Mehdi Sahab once said, this was long overdue. So you should be going to the news and doing the same thing and saying, yes, Islam does in fact represent peace, instead of getting upset and opposing the Ahmadiyya even further for doing the right thing. To the viewers, whatever makes sense to you is what you should follow. That's the best I can do to convey this message. Thank you for listening.